How you doing, gentlemen? Beautiful day out, huh? You ever skate?
I don't skate, but they got a skateboard. They got a couple of skateboards, actually pretty nice. You can ride these in there too.
Skippy, nice to meet you. Whoa. No way. Dude, how did we not know this existed?
How much do those bikes weigh? We set that car jump on fire, and you can jump it, you just might break the ribs on that fucking bigger bike.
Oh shit.
Have fun.
Thank you so much. No way this is here. I had no idea this was here. Imagine Talon Pemberton here. I definitely want to hit the tabletop.
Oh my god, brother.
I'm honestly waiting to see if some shit happen.
I haven't skated in like 2 years. No way!
I haven't skated in like 2 years. No way!
Bro, why was that so clean?
I can't believe it. Every road we've gone down, we've just seen something incredible. This is one of the coolest shelters yet. Looking for anything?
I looked for gemstones.
You ever found one?
Yeah.
Wow. I like rubies a lot. Rubies and black diamonds.
I found a $200 nugget of gold. So I found a paper clip that was stainless and had no rust, and I washed it, and then I lit the hell out of it with the lighter till it was red hot. I'm like, oh, it's sterile now. And I just sat there digging at it. Foam started coming out, like with 2 little teeth.
How'd you know about this place? What brought you here?
Reoccurring dreams when I was a kid. I was looking on YouTube and I found Dottie. Her face looked identical to in the dreams. I've lived here 5.5 months. My family is all Army, military, well, and Marines. Came over here, built my own shit. I don't use any nails or screws. Total redneck. I have no duct tape, and that's my favorite thing on this earth. Fuck Dean Koontz.
Yeah, Dean Koontz. Here, we got a little gift for you.
Yeah, that's dang. I've been. Oh, that's killer. Wiz Khalifa.
He walked here from New Hampshire. That's crazy impressive. Digging quite the hole. Bill's Bike Shop. The fence is made out of bikes. How you doing? Mind if we poke around a little bit?
Sure,
Are you Bill?
I'm not. These are a form of chain adjusters right here. They're they kind of keep the.
Oh, he's got some.
What did he say?
He said he's got some, but he's never heard him called that.
Oh, what are they called?
I call them chain adjusters, like chain tensioner.
I was here for a couple of years, about 3 years ago. So that was like 5 years ago when I got here. It was really wild, man, and people were nuts. And the meth heads were driving around with quads all over the place, scaring people and stealing shit. And it's changed since then. I think they're doing different kinds of drugs now, so they're not so crazy anymore.
Any spots you'd recommend? We're about to head out. What's the worst spot?
A couple of bunkers out there, old army bunkers that people have made into homes. I don't know what's going on
Eminem playing.
there anymore.
Where's Jim? Got a gym here. Pretty legit. And this is the wrong one though. Where's our gym? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he said there's a bunker that people live in. goodness. Terrible. There's someone in there I don't want to disturb. That is a serious structure. Dude, how do you even begin making something like this? Look at this tower. Tower of Enlightenment. I want to go to the top of the Tower of Enlightenment. You got quite the tower here. It's the highest point here? Is that something we could climb up? Thank you very much.
He gonna eat
Cool to
these
just
niggas.
walk up? Thanks. Oh, I hit my head. Still got 3 more stories. I use the same exact cables on the e-bikes. Bro, how do you make this with your hands? This is really impressive. A little scary to climb up, but this is the next story. Another bed up here. Not the worst place to go to
Is that
sleep.
a knife you got?
Could easily put another bed on this level. Wow. Let's go. Wow. I would be up here all day.
Hell no, bro. They ain't no like guardrail or nothing. They bugging out. They bugging out.
Oh, that is scary to go down. I like this level. It's the second highest. You get the ceiling, the roof, a little more space for a bed. This would be my favorite spot if I could choose one. And this level's definitely not bad either. Probably this would be even better to get more space. Here's what I'm thinking. Drink, snack, then we hit the bunkers, and then go shoot. We got some beautiful olives and garlic and tomatoes. These are so good together.
You had them all together?
Mm-hmm.
Made a few?
The tomato adds like a sweet. Jim says these are the best strawberries he's ever had. Blasting the AC. We're good? Dogs. Not good. Deep sand, not good. Oh shit. Yeah, that was really scary. If it wasn't so sandy, I'd be confident, but the sand's so deep, I'm like,
You're like, oh my god.
but these are crazy, dude. Look at these bunkers. I want to get closer. The dogs are scary, though.
I just saw you on the skateboard.
Oh, yeah, we saw you.
Out here's kind of weird. You can do stuff, and there's motherfuckers out here that are serious criminals that just bounce right the fuck back out. And they're hanging around here. I know a few killers and stuff that are around here, but we have an understanding. This other bunker behind you right here, these people, they're meth heads.
These ones right here?
He said they're mad heads.
But I get along with them fine. Louis here, my partner on this, he don't get he beat the guy half to fucking death. Yeah. But I try to choose to try and keep things calmer. Love Louis. Louis, he don't play no shit. The laws are in place. Same California rules. I guess it's like that everywhere. The jails are probably full. And I noticed chick out here fucking Domino, she got caught with like 1 million tabs of fucking by the feds, and she's right back out here. Right the fuck back out. And and I can talk to her and her boyfriend Scrappy. He's a killer and a thief at many levels, and I can hang out and drink beer with a guy. It's so weird that you can hang out with a serial killer, and have a beer with them and chill out, but they don't fuck with me, and that's okay. To me, it's a rush to get respect from people that are dangerous.
Really appreciate you inviting us in.
That's all about it.
Louis?
Jim.
Man.
Adrian, your dogs are chasing cars, people. You know, they're a nuisance, and then they go to other camps, and he doesn't acknowledge them. You know, and the names are Evil, and Momo.
And Momo. Okay, one of them's got a dog name.
This bunker is probably about 80 years old. Anybody smoke regular cigarettes?
I'm good, thank you. Oi! Oi! This is an 80-year-old bunker. Look how deep these bullet holes are. What kind of gun shoots that?
Right now, there's a school in here. Yeah, see the difference in temperature? So
Whoa.
And this becomes key for survival of the summers when it's like 112 degrees. This very well insulated, just the way it is, it'll keep temperature. So the idea is to have the king size bed there to sleep with all my animals, you know, and my girlfriend.
Yes.
And a little mini kitchen or whatever. But this is the bar with a projector to project movies and have movie night. Simplicity. Like, we're trying to live normal, but there's only so much we can do.
Do people ever challenge you for this space? Do they ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
All the time. Pardon my French. But yeah, over time I've ran out of patience. We literally have recordings of them coming at us for no reason at all, either telling us they're gonna burn us out, kill us by the morning, they're taking the bunker back, we don't belong here, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, all the time. Yeah, we get challenged all the time.
We've been all around. This is the nicest spot by far.
It is by far, yeah. Hard, arid, you know, deserts. It just helps.
You're so cute.
So I brought it out here to start because it gets in some trouble.
So this is the other side of the bunker.
Oh, nice. So we're like storing his stuff, keeping an eye on it and all that. And he's got like old school stuff, like turntable, D-game, like old school. So, but yeah, this is 300 gallons, or is it 250? No, it's about 300. Yeah, so this keeps us going. Nice. Where everything's drinkable, it's potable.
How much you should pay to fill that up?
It used to be $40, now it's $50. Yeah. But it's not too bad when you really need it.
Yeah.
Like a quick rinse off.
Yeah.
But it makes it so much easier to just come out.
Beautiful. This is amazing.
Yeah, I plan on putting like a deck up here. Can you imagine a patio, lawn chair here, get a stool, and then just have breakfast here, enjoying the sun.
This man ain't got no shoes on. I ain't believing no plans he talking about.
We went in there.
Unreal.
Bro, I hang out with killers all the time. Like, they're all around. Like I was giving us a straight fair warning before we went in there.
Louis here, my partner on this, he don't give any beat the guy half to fucking death. To me, it's a rush to get respect from people that are dangerous.
He got that bunker, bro. He is running shit around here. He's running it. He got that bunker from somebody.
They didn't give it to him.
He gets challenged all the time. You know what I'm saying? You think he's like, yeah, it's crazy how like a group of us we just came across it.
There's just no better way to explore than on a Ronstarad's RTR. This thing's gone through rivers, it's gone through deserts. Nothing has stopped it.
Mission success.
Let's go. As always, thank you so much for watching until the end. Stay tuned.
Alright, let's see.
On the 11th of May 2011, 6-year-old Timothy Pitson left his school in Aurora, Illinois with his mother, Amy. Amy had shown up at the school unexpectedly, telling the staff that there was a family emergency. Timothy's teachers were caught off guard, as something seemed to be severely off with Amy, but they let Timothy go with his mother, figuring everything was going to be okay. These are some of the most disturbing unsolved cases with video footage. As they drove away from the school, Timothy was excited. He loved spending time with his mother, and they were heading out on what seemed like a special adventure. Amy took him to a zoo, then a water park. It felt like a mini holiday, and a chance to have some fun together, just the two of them. They checked into hotels along the way, and at each stop, Amy made sure they had fun. Still, to Timothy, it was probably just an exciting trip with his mum. But there were signs that things weren't as simple as they seemed. Amy wasn't just taking a break, she was avoiding contact with Timothy's dad and other family members. She would call them every now and again, always sounding upbeat, but she never let Timothy talk to anyone. She'd say, "He's fine, he's having fun," but never gave him the phone. When she called her husband, she told him not to worry and that they were fine, in a very cheerful tone. But still, the phone calls left the family uneasy. Why wouldn't she let Timothy speak? The two kept moving from place to place. They stayed in a couple different hotels, moving further and further away from home. Amy was seen on hotel security cameras, and people who saw them said that Timothy looked happy, completely unaware that anything was about to happen. At one point, Amy visited a hardware store where she bought a few items that didn't seem to fit with a road trip. She purchased small things like a notebook and a pen, things that just felt out of place. Amy seemed to be stalling, like she was trying to gain time, but no one knew for what. The choices she made only added to the mystery. Every call to her family sounded upbeat, yet the details made them anxious. Why did she seem so cheerful but refused to explain what she was doing or let Timothy talk? Amy also checked into a hotel without Timothy for one night, a strange move that raised even more questions. Why would she go to a hotel by herself when Timothy was still with her? And where did she leave the 6-year-old? These unexplained decisions kept building up, leaving her family more worried with each passing day. When Amy made her last call to her mother-in-law, she sounded calm. She told her that everything was going smoothly and she shouldn't worry about anything. But this time, her mother-in-law pressed her, asking directly to speak with Timothy. Though once again, Amy refused. This time, her excuse was simple. He's busy playing. Her voice was light-hearted, but there was something strange about her tone, as if she was masking something deeper. On the 14th of May 2011, Amy checked into a motel in Rockford, Illinois. By then, she and Timothy had been on the road for 3 days. That evening, Amy was spotted on security cameras one last time, and she entered her room alone. Timothy was nowhere to be seen. The next day, motel staff found Amy dead in her room as she had ended her own life. It was a devastating discovery, but the shock didn't end there. Next to Amy's body, police found a note she had written, a message that only deepened the mystery. In her handwriting, Amy explained that Timothy was safe, but added something haunting. "You will never find him." But there was something else in the note that left Timothy's family and investigators terrified. Amy also wrote, "Timothy is safe with people who will care for him." This message seemed to suggest that she had left Timothy with someone she trusted, someone who could take care of him. But who were these people? And did they even exist? The note left Timothy's family in disbelief. Amy had assured everyone that they were fine, but now she was gone and Timothy was nowhere to be found. As the police combed through her car, they discovered traces of blood on the seat. They immediately tested it, and it was confirmed to be Timothy's. This finding raised new fears and new questions, as everyone was wondering what had really happened to Timothy. Was he in danger, or had he somehow been left in a safe place as Amy claimed? Investigators were caught between two possibilities. Either Amy had hidden him somewhere to protect him, or something much darker had occurred. Right after Amy's death, police launched an extensive search for Timothy. They retraced every step of her journey, hoping to uncover any clue that might lead them to him. Authorities examined maps, reviewed Amy's GPS records, and revisited every hotel and location she and Timothy had visited during those final days together. And they pored over surveillance footage, hoping to spot a moment, a clue, anything that could reveal where Amy had taken Timothy. As the search continued, investigators found more strange details. Amy's car showed signs that had been through dirt roads and grassy areas. It was clear that she had probably been in remote locations, likely far away from any city or town. But where exactly? Search teams combed through forests, parks, and even isolated areas that matched the clues left by the dirt and plants found on her car. Yet despite these massive efforts, Timothy was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, the story of Timothy's disappearance began to spread across the country. News stations picked up the story, broadcasting pictures of Timothy with his bright smile and innocent eyes. His face appeared everywhere, on television, in newspapers, and on missing person posters. The public was captivated by the mystery, and as more details emerged about Amy's final days, people began forming their own theories. Timothy's father, Jim Pitson, became the face of the family's heartbreak and hope. Appearing on news interviews, he spoke openly about the pain of losing Amy and the agony of not knowing where his son was, though he still believed, as Amy's note had said, that Timothy truly was safe somewhere. The general reaction to the case was mixed. Some people sympathized with Jim and clung on to the idea that Timothy was still alive, somewhere out there. They rallied for his return, joining search parties, volunteering, and spreading Timothy's story online. Others, however, began to question Amy's actions and whether her words in the note could be trusted. They speculated that her final message was meant to mislead, and some even believed that Timothy might never be found because he was no longer alive. Then, in 2019, 8 years after Timothy's disappearance, the case took a very unexpected twist. A young man appeared claiming to be Timothy Pitson, saying he had finally escaped his captors after years of being held against his will. For a brief moment, hope flooded back. Jim and his family were overwhelmed with emotion, believing that Timothy might be finally returning home. But that hope was crushed just as quickly as it appeared, as DNA tests revealed that the young man was not Timothy. He was in fact someone else entirely, a random, troubled person looking for a way out of their own life. Despite the disappointment, Timothy's case remains active. Law enforcement has refused to close it, and his family holds onto the hope that he's still out there. Timothy's disappearance has become one of America's most famous and confusing mysteries. Some still theorize that Amy may have had help, that maybe someone else was involved in Timothy's disappearance, which could help to explain the times that Amy was alone checking into the hotels. The idea is based partly on her note, where she mentioned Timothy being with people who would care for him, though to this day there's no evidence supporting this theory. But the idea that Timothy might still be out there, hidden with someone who knows the truth, keeps the mystery alive.
You can't give up hope. As soon as you give up hope, then what should I do? What, declare him dead? He's probably in the middle of nowhere, being homeschooled someplace, just away from the media and TVs and new technology.
That's crazy. That's whoa.
It was still dark in mid.
They might need to check him too, cause what the fuck?
Lothian, Texas, on the morning of the 18th of April 2016. For 45-year-old Terry Missy Bevers, a fitness instructor and mother of 3, this was a normal time to be up and ready. She was dedicated to her fitness classes, regularly teaching early morning sessions. She had a class scheduled at Creekside Church of Christ that day, and she was known for showing up early to set everything up. Around 4:20 a.m., Missy entered the church, her headlights briefly illuminating the parking lot before going dark. With her workout equipment and supplies in hand, she made her way inside, likely unaware of the danger that awaited her. What she didn't know was that someone had already broken in. Hours before Missy arrived, Creekside Church had been empty, but by 3:50 a.m., a figure had appeared inside, roaming the halls in a way that would later raise unsettling questions. Security cameras captured the footage of this person, someone whose actions seemed more bizarre than purposeful. The intruder was dressed head to toe in SWAT-style tactical gear, including a helmet, vest, and gloves, all of which concealed their identity. Obviously, this wasn't ordinary clothing, especially for someone committing a crime, and it was something that law enforcement would later struggle to explain, as they couldn't figure out if it was merely just a disguise or some sort of message. As the figure moved through the church, their actions were equally strange. Instead of heading directly to an office, a safe, or any obvious target, the person walked around, opening doors, checking rooms, and tapping on walls. Their pace was calm, almost wondering, as if they had all the time in the world, as it didn't seem like they were searching for anything specific. Instead, it felt as though they were just waiting. The security footage further showed this person pausing here and there, standing silently, before moving again. It was this slow, almost detached movement that would later haunt viewers. And in one of the stranger aspects caught on the camera was the fact that the figure seemed to even stagger slightly, as they walked very clumsily, as it looks as if they could be unfamiliar with the layout of the church, or they're in some kind of daze. At around 4:20 a.m., just as Missy entered the church, the camera footage ended. To this day, it's unclear exactly how much time passed between Missy walking into the church and her encounter with the intruder, but what is known is that Missy was soon to be found dead, her body discovered by her students who arrived for class a short time later. The scene that they would walk into was shocking.
Amazing.
There we I think we back. We back. Yes. Let's see. We back. We back. I think we good.
Into the church and her encounter with the intruder, but what is known is that Missy was soon to be found dead, her body discovered by her students who arrived for class a short time later. The scene that they would walk into was shocking. Missy had suffered multiple injuries that was believed to have been inflicted by a hammer that was left near her body. After her death, the investigators turned to Creekside Church's security cameras, hoping they held the clues that could identify Missy's killer. What detectives found is that the footage raised far more questions than it answered. Like, as the figure moved throughout the church, they would also periodically break certain objects and shatter glass, leading the police to believe that the person was trying to stage some sort of robbery gone wrong. Though that theory would make little sense when you consider that the robber neglected to take Missy's purse or iPad. Also, why had they chosen a church of all places? And what was the motive? If this was a robbery, it was certainly an unusual one. After the discovery of Missy's body at Creekside Church, Midlothian police faced a daunting task. Because there was just so little to go off, the detectives involved started watching the footage over and over again to find the tiniest of details, which then made them notice
He do look like a goofball.
the killer's strange gait or walking style, as they seemed to move with a slight clumsiness, as if they were wearing shoes too big or simply had a very
Yo, he stole this outfit?
distinct walk. Internet detectives then started comparing the walk to those around Missy, and if you line up the videos of the SWAT-geared intruder with those of her father, they do look eerily
There's no way.
similar. That this evidence, if you can even call it that, is extremely weak and is a symptom of the case being so mysterious and confusing. The police themselves initially thought that the intruder could be female, as the walk looked as if the person was wearing clothes too big or too heavy, though again, this theory led nowhere. As detectives continued analyzing the footage, they turned to Missy's family, friends and acquaintances, hoping to uncover any motive or clue that could point them towards a suspect. They asked about Missy's relationships, any recent conflicts and her schedule, searching for anything that might explain why someone would target her. Missy's husband, Brandon, her 3 children, and her close friends all cooperated fully, sharing information about Missy's life and any challenges she might have been facing. According to her loved ones, Missy was well liked, devoted to her family, and passionate about her work as a fitness instructor. However, some friends mentioned that Missy had recently expressed concerns about strange social media messages she had received. These messages on LinkedIn reportedly came from an unknown male and were described as creepy and strange. The police would track down this person of interest, though it would ultimately turn out to be a dead end. Detectives documented everything they had learned, yet no single piece of information pointed directly towards a clear suspect. To this day, Terry Missy Bever's case has gone completely unsolved. Alyssa Turney was a typical 17-year-old high school junior living in Phoenix, Arizona, with her father, Michael Turney, and half-sister Sarah. Like most teenagers, she had a part-time job, friends, and dreams for the future. But on the 17th of May 2001, everything changed. That was the day Alyssa vanished without a trace, and the mystery of her disappearance would leave her family and community searching for answers for years to come. It was the last day of school, and Alyssa was looking forward to summer break. She and her friends had made plans to celebrate, and it seemed like a typical start to what should have been a carefree summer. But what happened that afternoon has been clouded by strange details, some coming from her father Michael himself, who was the last person to ever see her. According to Michael, he picked up Alyssa from Paradise Valley High School around lunchtime. He claimed that they went out for a bite to eat at a local restaurant, and then, once they returned home, they had a heated argument. Michael would later tell the police that Alyssa stormed off, shouting that she was leaving and heading to California to live with her biological aunt. To back this story, Michael claimed he found a note from Alyssa in her room, saying basically exactly what she was saying in the argument, that she was running away. The note, written in Alyssa's handwriting, didn't sit right with Alyssa's friends and family. For one, none of her belongings, like her phone or purse, were missing. If Alyssa truly intended to run away, why would she leave behind everything she'd need? And why didn't she tell any of her close friends about her plans? Initially, authorities treated Alyssa as a runaway, believing that she might have truly gone to California or was still somewhere nearby in the Phoenix area. However, doubts started to arise when the $1,800 in her bank account was left completely untouched and she failed to contact any of her friends and family. As police started to investigate further, they discovered something odd. Michael had been tracking Alyssa's movements in ways that went beyond what many see as protective. In fact, he seemed to have an unusual level of control over her life. At her job, Alyssa's co-workers noticed Michael would occasionally appear unannounced, sometimes with a video camera. In one instance, he secretly recorded his daughter's interactions with customers, co-workers, and friends, claiming it was to ensure her safety. But there was no clear reason why he would have to monitor her like this. These recordings weren't limited to her workplace either. Michael had even installed surveillance devices around their home, and one of the most disturbing details was the discovery of hidden recording devices in the family's living room. It's unknown how often Michael reviewed these recordings, but it was clear he had an intense need to keep tabs on Alyssa's actions and conversations. This kind of behavior extended into nearly every aspect of Alyssa's life. Michael kept strict control over her social life, reportedly screening her phone calls and limiting her time with friends. Alyssa's friends recalled that Michael seemed overly protective and suspicious, making her feel uncomfortable and trapped. They reported that Alyssa felt she couldn't do anything without her father knowing, and over time, she grew increasingly resentful of his intense surveillance. For any teenager, this level of control would have felt suffocating. Though it gets much more worrying. When the police were taking statements from those who knew Alyssa to try and find any leads revolving her disappearance, one of her close friends, her boyfriend, and her stepbrother all independently shared stories that they had heard from Alyssa, all involving Michael attempting to illegally and inappropriately touch his daughter. In one instance, Alyssa's stepbrother said that during a car ride, Michael scooted closer to Alyssa and then tried to touch her in ways that would certainly get him arrested if anyone had reported it. Speaking of which, Michael himself once called Child Protective Services to warn them that if Alyssa was to ever call them to accuse him of touching her strangely, that she's a liar, a very normal thing for a loving father to do. Then somehow the strangeness continues. Michael was fixated on a very particular incident involving Alyssa. He frequently brought up the claim that years prior, Alyssa had been assaulted by a teacher. Michael often told people he believed this incident deeply affected her, yet there was no concrete evidence of it ever happening. Interestingly, Michael's account of the incident would often shift, making it hard for investigators to verify. Alyssa's close friends noted that she had never mentioned this supposed assault, and many doubted it ever happened. Michael, however, used this story as a justification for his extreme protectiveness, insisting that he was simply trying to shield Alyssa from further harm. Then there was the matter of Alyssa's aunt. When the police followed up, they learned that Alyssa's aunt in California hadn't heard from her and wasn't expecting her to come. This detail obviously threw more doubt on Michael's story. If Alyssa had indeed intended to run away, why hadn't she contacted the aunt that she was supposedly going to stay with? For the police, Alyssa's disappearance started looking less like a runaway case, more like a mystery. The evidence of crime taking place. The case stalled. One of the most unsettling details about Alyssa's case is that her disappearance was marked by a quiet inaction from Michael himself. Normally, parents missing children are frantic, calling every friend and visiting every place they can think of to find their child. Michael didn't seem to do any of that. Instead, he waited 5 days after Alyssa vanished to report her missing. For many, this delayed response obviously raised suspicion. When asked why he waited, Michael claimed that he thought Alyssa would return home once she had cooled off, insisting that she was just a rebellious teen who would run away in heat at the moment. After years of frustration, doubt, and silence, one voice would rise above the uncertainty surrounding Alyssa Turney's disappearance. Her younger sister, Sarah. Driven by a desire to know what really happened, Sarah Turney became the leading force behind Alyssa's case, refusing to let her sister's story fade. For years, she struggled to understand what happened and to reconcile the loss of her sister with the vague and suspicious stories told by her stepdad, Michael. As Sarah grew older, her curiosity deepened. She began questioning the details surrounding Alyssa's disappearance and eventually recognized the inconsistencies in the story that Michael shared her over the years. While police had long classified Alyssa's case as a runaway situation, Sarah began to suspect that it was something far more sinister. At first, Sarah tried addressing her concerns within her family. She asked Michael directly about what had happened and pushed for answers. Michael insisted that Alyssa had simply left, as she had run away and wanted nothing to do with them anymore. Yet Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to the story, and that her stepdad might be hiding something crucial. Sarah also reached out to law enforcement, hoping they could reopen the case. But with no new evidence, and Alyssa's status officially labeled as a runaway, the police weren't able to provide much assistance. Despite these roadblocks, Sarah continued her quest, refusing to accept that her sister's case would remain unsolved. Frustrated by the lack of progress, Sarah took matters into her own hands and turned to social media. She started sharing Alyssa's story online, using every platform available to spread awareness and gain support. Over time, her posts began to capture attention, and Sarah's online presence grew. But it wasn't until she joined TikTok that her fight for justice truly gained momentum. On TikTok, Sarah adopted a very direct and honest approach. She very openly talked about her suspicions of Michael, as well as her struggle to keep the case alive. Sarah wasn't afraid in the slightest to speak out against her own stepdad, publicly declaring that she believed he was responsible for Alyssa's disappearance. Her boldness was both risky and shocking, but it was effective on TikTok as viewers admired her courage to speak out, even when it meant accusing a family member. After years of uncertainty and years of advocacy from Sarah, the investigation into Alyssa's disappearance took a significant turn. In August 2020, nearly 2 decades after Alyssa was last seen, police arrested her stepfather, Michael Turney, charging him with second-degree murder. Investigators pieced together patterns of Michael's controlling behavior, leading to the decision to formally reopen the case and charge him. The second-degree murder charge against Michael Turney indicated that the authorities believed he had killed Alyssa without premeditation. However, the lack of any direct physical evidence linking Michael to Alyssa's disappearance posed a significant challenge for the prosecution. Despite these hurdles, Sarah and her supporters remained hopeful that the circumstantial evidence and Michael's own actions would lead to a conviction. In July 2023, Michael Turney's trial commenced. After 6 days of testimony, the defense filed a motion for an acquittal, arguing that the prosecution had not presented substantial evidence to support a conviction. The judge agreed, citing the absence of physical evidence proving Alyssa's death or Michael's involvement, and acquitted Michael of all charges. He was released from custody on July 18th, 2023. Following his release, Michael Turney took legal action against local officials. In January of 2024, he filed a lawsuit against the Phoenix Police Department, as Michael alleged he was mistreated during his time in custody, claiming he was denied adequate health care and meals, and asserted he was wrongfully imprisoned. As of today, the case of Alyssa Turney has gone completely cold.
If Alyssa's out there, any message for her?
You get that loud.
Same message I've always tried to give it.
Which is,
I love her.
you want her to come home.
Obviously so.
The holiday of a lifetime, a Caribbean cruise, warm beaches, and the endless blue of the open sea. Amy Lynn Bradley, a 23-year-old recent college graduate from Virginia, was thrilled about the trip. Traveling with her family, she boarded the Royal Caribbean cruise ship Rhapsody of the Seas on March 21st, 1998. Amy was excited but also a little bit nervous. Friends and family said she wasn't exactly the cruise type. Amy was athletic, outgoing, and independent, but she had a fear of open water, which made the cruise ship a bit of a leap outside her comfort zone. The night of March 23rd should have been just like any other night on the cruise ship. The family enjoyed dinner, and Amy later went to a nightclub on the ship with her brother Brad. The siblings had a fun night dancing and chatting with the other passengers, and in a video taken that night, Amy looked happy and carefree. Around 3:30 a.m., Brad left the club to go to bed, and Amy told him she'd be right behind him. This was the last confirmed sighting of Amy by her family. Early next morning, things took a shocking turn. Around 5:30 a.m., Amy's father, Ron Bradley, woke up in a shared cabin. He noticed that Amy wasn't in her bed, which immediately set off the alarms in his head. It was strange for Amy to be up that early, especially since they'd been out late the night before. Ron initially assumed she might have gone up to the deck to watch the sunrise, and he figured she'd be back soon. But as the minutes passed and Amy didn't return, Ron's concern grew. He searched around the ship looking for any sign of his daughter as he checked the common areas, the decks, and even went to the ship's dining area, but there was no trace of Amy. Feeling increasingly desperate, he woke up the rest of the family. They searched for her together, hoping to find her asleep somewhere else or chatting with a friend, but Amy was nowhere to be found. By 6 a.m., the family reported Amy's disappearance to the ship's crew. At first, the crew didn't seem as worried as the Bradleys were. They suggested that maybe Amy had gone for a swim, fallen asleep somewhere, or even gone ashore on her own during an early port stop. However, Amy's family knew she wouldn't have just wandered off without telling them. They insisted that something was wrong and pushed for a more thorough search of the ship. The search of the Rhapsody of the Seas was extensive, but it wasn't fast. Crew members scanned every deck, every room, every public area for any sign of Amy. Still, nothing turned up. By midday, the captain made an official announcement alerting all passengers to Amy's disappearance and asking for any information. But despite everyone's efforts, it was if she had just vanished into thin air. Amy's family then tried to convince the captain to stop the boat until Amy had been found, as if the worst case scenario had happened and she had been kidnapped. She could then be smuggled off the ship when they'd eventually reached port. The captain ignored their pleas and continued to drive the boat, allowing everyone off the ship. For the Bradley family, the idea that Amy might have gone overboard was unbearable. She was a strong swimmer and wouldn't have been careless around the water. Plus, Amy had left behind her shoes and her identification in her cabin, which raised even more questions. Could she have met someone who persuaded her to leave her cabin, or had she encountered someone with darker intentions? While Amy's family, desperate for answers, recalled several strange interactions she had with crew members during the trip. A few days before she vanished, Amy mentioned feeling uncomfortable around some of the crew. According to her family, she felt watched. One particular crew member approached her several times, showing an unusual amount of interest in her. He reportedly invited her to go dancing at the club off the ship, which she turned down. Then her family noticed something very worrying. On board the ship, there was an area where photos of passengers were displayed, pictures taken by the ship's photographers, available for families to view and buy. But something was wrong. All the photos featuring Amy had vanished. Her family couldn't help but wonder, had someone intentionally removed her pictures? If so, who would do such a thing, and why? And as time passed, some people have claimed to have seen Amy, fueling the theories that she might still be alive. Several witnesses came forward, saying that they had seen a woman matching Amy's description in the Caribbean. These sightings included accounts from a sailor and tourists who saw a woman resembling Amy with men who seemed to control her. In one case, a Canadian tourist reported seeing a woman in a brothel in Barbados. The woman allegedly begged for help, saying she was in fact Amy and was not allowed to leave. These sightings gave Amy's family hope, but all of them led to dead ends when followed up by authorities. No concrete evidence was found, and the woman in the sightings was never confirmed to be Amy. The descriptions were often vague, and some sightings happened in chaotic settings. Still, for the Bradleys, each new sighting brought a glimmer of hope, which is also connected to perhaps the most disturbing theory of all, being that Amy had been abducted and sold into human trafficking. The idea was often...
They doing on the boat. This shit crazy. Ew. Does he make it? Does he make the? I don't know. Fake ass fall. Oh. Got a lot of hand on there too. Oh, he smoked the layup. Smokey! That's a good move. Okay, he had a 30 pop. Hey. Uh-oh. Oh, they in there, John. Hi. What the hell?
He don't want to guard you. He don't want to guard you. Let us be hype. Stay focused, bro. You can really put me up like bad, man. 35 on my life, bro. Just stay focused, bro. He don't want to guard you, bro. He don't want to guard you, bro. Give you a shot.
And I was just talking to somebody in the chat, or no, in the comments on my YouTube channel. Go follow my YouTube if you haven't. That he was arguing the top 5 in this one-on-one, and I was claiming Frigga is at least in the top 5. So it doesn't look to be. I don't know. We'll see. He got the old school KDs on too. I thought he hit. Hey. Whooped it. BTA. It's crazy now. That's a lot. Damn. But that's tough. With the pump up and under. From under cheese. He trying to do the same thing. He gonna do the same thing. Oh damn, that's a great foul. Ooh, that's a tough bucket. That's a super tough bucket. Yikes. A grown man bucket. Yikes. That's a good bucket too. Ooh, off the rip. Try it.
Stay in your shots. Remember, you up so much, you start bleeding. Stay focused, bro. You pump this nigga up, bro. Oh, bro, we eating bread after this, nigga. Hear me? We eating bread after this, nigga.
What the fuck? Oh, okay. Should've glitched. I was like, what the hell? Damn! That look good. Oh. Hey, got me. Alright. Hey. Ooh. Ooh. You try to do him dirty. Hey. I'm trying. Hang on. Point run. Ew. Ooh. Oh, he mad. Oh, he big mad. You heard it. He looked over. Don't do nothing. Look over again. Still ain't do nothing. He can't say nothing either. Score ain't looking good. Oh, that's right. Let's go back. Hey. Ew. Ugh. This nigga think he in the NBA. I'll get all these fouls. Oh, no. Oh. Alright. Okay. Here, loud and clear. Yup. Yup.
His first game versus Dallas. Both for him and for Dallas fans who have watched the franchise player repping purple and gold, but aside triple doubles, Slovenian.
Luka's first game versus Dallas was brutal.
Luka's first game versus Dallas was brutal, both for him and for Dallas fans who had to watch their franchise player repping the purple and gold. But besides triple doubles Slovenian inflicted on his former team, there were other tactical adjustments that were interesting for both teams, which gave us more insight into this new Lakers squad and how far we can expect them to go this postseason. Mavs fans proceed with caution.
Oh.
The first trade of the fifth scoring champion this season, so naturally, the first game against the was must-see TV. James started friendly with Luka and Kyrie sharing a moment, but once the ball was in the air, that friendliness was nowhere to be found. Luka wanted to come.
I said Kyrie like King. What?
The show, and that show started on the defensive end of all places. Dallas won the quarter, so they started the game sending doubles going right away, but it didn't matter.
That's the way you can lead, right? Just getting more of yourself on that side.
Wonder Boy was playing bully.
Oh my goodness.
Wonder Boy was playing bully ball in the paint. Taking shooters at these deep paint touches. The problem for Dallas was that they also had to worry about that 4-year-old that refuses to age. Watching LeBron play off the ball is still so weird. But the Lakers wake up.
LeBron's definitely in his should be in his off-ball era, or he dominates off-ball, similar to how Jordan got over the Wizards.
Go far in playoffs. Luka has to be the best player, and it's clear LeBron has succeeded with taking that mantle. On the defensive side, Mavericks won to Luka.
That boy, Kyrie. That's not Kyrie. They clone that nigga. Who the hell is that?
It was caught insane tonight. The results were hit and miss. Luka was trying despite his limitations. When he got beat badly, and the Lakers game plan was peel switch saved him. Of course, it wouldn't be the game without a bully on. Controlling his emotions in game has always been a problem for Luka, but despite that, he was showing good leadership even from the bench. Drew had to do a lot of heavy lifting for Dallas. For him, he had to do about 80. Even the first 28 point with the Lakers in front, Jason Kidd knew that their defense would be a litmus test. Easy said no, with their two-hit monster offense. This team will be pure destination to any team. Even with Luka on bench, AR-15 was lights out from downtown. And Luka was doing every single at the sideline. Reeves' ability to thrive, the freshman key for LA's postseason plans. And now he's playing in Phoenix. Yesterday, the court carried out. Mavs were searching for answers. They weren't easily finding them. Taking their words, they were clean there. The Mavs Harrison roster closed. Matt Hayes, he had said we're going to make up for Luka, but a man is counter for everything. Double half court, he was generating light with the breeze for his eyes. He had no intention of making his own mistakes. They burns out blood. Mavs have probably his own defense in court, but fighting for him to refuse to go down easily. Mavs Harris scored in second. On offense, Luka found help, and Mavs looked for first half tonight. It had the only hand of the half shots against LA with his team. For third, the Mavs kept shooting on the foot because they were thinking Luka was going to get any defensive take for Nick. At the defensive is red, and defense picked up Mavs less than one involvement. Plus from Reeves on play. And on defense, it's an all-out physical. On the end, it's Warren Memphis. As the Reeves are following the Mavs, the leader knew anybody for Red, really thinks Scrappy's full. And so they Luka's teammates, easy looks, only full back. Just like that, Mavs were beating Philly down 1. However, this is one for the Mavs, X-Heads blocking right in the third. Mavs just had a one point. Clay carries the third in the fourth. It's absolute thing right there. And Warren doesn't rebound on the Lakers, which the game. The fact that LA has a problem in the team always is very concerning. Fortunately, the offense had every man for freedom. And Luka came back into the game. The doubles really hurt us. The only thing since team game, good work made by easy for Luka. Matt Harper that close the score strong. That's what LeBron said. And that combo was too much for the depleted Mavericks to handle. And if he wasn't on the receiving end, he was on cleanup duties. At one point, even taking over the defense, it was all James down stretch. The Lakers and Luka beat the Mavericks by 8 points.
Damn. That was wrong of age, man. Yeah. I ain't gonna be a sad day. Sad day for anyone. He gets too old, man. It's gonna be a sad day. Good video.